All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the secret life of Olivia. We've talked about the magic system, the characters, the threat from those shadow sprites. But now I want to talk about, what it all means. The bigger picture stuff.
I like that. That's what makes these deep decks so interesting. We're not just summarizing a plot. We're digging deeper to uncover the themes and messages hidden in the story. And one theme that really jumps out at me is this idea of legacy, like how our past, our family history shapes who we are.
It's a powerful thing that runs through the whole story. Olivia's powers, her destiny, even that silver jewelry box are all connected to her family history. This long line of women with this unique ability to protect the realms. It's like she's carrying the weight of history on her 9-year-old shoulders.
It makes you think about your own family, right? What stories, what strengths, what burdens do we inherit from the people who came before us?
It's something we all think about at some point. And for Olivia, discovering her heritage is both amazing and overwhelming. It gives her purpose, but also this huge responsibility. She's not just a girl anymore. She's a guardian, a protector, a champion of light.
And it's not just about inheriting magical powers, right? It's about the values, the traditions, the expectations that get passed down through generations. That silver jewelry box, for example, it's not just a box. It's a symbol of her connection to the past, specifically to her great-grandmother.
And remember, it's described as a powder box, something from the 1920s that was really important for women back then. It represented beauty, femininity, a certain standard. So Olivia's inheriting not just a magical artifact, but a piece of cultural history, a reminder of the expectations placed on women throughout time.
That's a really interesting point. It's like this object from the past is carrying both magical power and a reflection of social norms and gender roles.
Exactly. And it adds another layer to Olivia's journey. She's not just dealing with mastering her powers and fighting shadow sprites, but also the weight of expectations from her family and society as a whole.
So it's a coming-of-age story with magic, but it also touches on these bigger themes of identity, family history, and societal expectations. That's what makes it so engaging, don't you think? It's not just a fun adventure. It makes you think about the world and your place in it.
I completely agree. And speaking of the world around us, let's talk about Olivia and Arthur. Their friendship, if you could even call it that sometimes, is one of the most fascinating parts of the story.
It's definitely complicated. They start as best friends, then Arthur turns out to be a shadow sprite who's been deceiving her. There's betrayal, heartbreak, and this constant tension between how much they care about each other and their conflicting loyalties.
And yet, even with all of their connections, Olivia never gives up on Arthur, even when he's actively working against her. She sees the good in him, the potential for him to choose a different path.
It reminds you that even in the darkest times, even when you're facing betrayal, you can still choose hope, to believe that people can change.
And that hope, that belief in Arthur, is ultimately what saves him. Not force or anything like that, but understanding and acceptance.
That's a powerful message. That even our enemies, the people we see as different or dangerous, can change, can choose a better way. It makes me think about the conflicts and divisions in our own world. What if we approach people who disagree with us with more curiosity, more empathy, more willingness to listen? Could we find common ground? Could we overcome those differences?
Those are great questions to think about. Even though the world of The Secret Life of Olivia is fantasy, the themes it explores are deeply human and relevant to our own lives.
For sure. We've talked about legacy, societal expectations, the ups and downs of friendship. But there's one more theme I want to mention before we finish. It's something that becomes really clear during the climax when Olivia fights the shadow sprites.
You mean the power of emotions?
That's it. We see throughout the story how Olivia's feelings affect her magic, especially when she's using the red ruby, the light creation gem. But it's in that final battle that this connection becomes truly life-changing.
It's not just about using raw power, right? It's about understanding those feelings, how they can fuel her magic for good or for bad.
Exactly. And there's this key moment when she realizes that it's not anger or fear that will defeat the shadow sprites. It's love. Love for her family, love for her friends, even love for Arthur, despite what he did. It's this overwhelming love that lets her unlock the full power of the red ruby and save the realms.
It's a powerful message about the transformative power of love, not just as a feeling, but as a force that can overcome even the darkest things.
And it makes you think about your own life. How often do we let fear or anger control us? What if we tapped into that love inside us? Not just for the people we're close to, but for everyone. What kind of change could we create?
Those are definitely questions worth thinking about. And I think that's what makes The Secret Life of Olivia so special. It's entertaining, it's imaginative, but it also gives you hope, a belief in the power of good, and a desire to make the world a better place.
I couldn't agree more. So for our listener who wanted the inside scoop on the secret life of Olivia without actually reading it, I hope this deep dive has been insightful and interesting.
We've explored the plot, the characters, the magic, and those deeper themes that stay with you long after you finish the book.
But just like with any good story, there's nothing quite like experiencing it for yourself.
So if this deep dive has sparked your interest,
Yeah.
I definitely recommend checking out the book. Who knows, maybe you'll discover some hidden powers of your own along the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shining your light on the world.